They say nothing lasts forever, but try telling that to a Roman aqueduct. There it stands, arches rising against the horizon, weathered by 2,000 years of sun, wind, and rain. The stones are worn, the edges softened, yet the structure still holds, still carries water as it did when legions marched and Caesars ruled. And if you take a closer look, you'll find something remarkable. The mortar, the very concrete binding those stones together, is older than any modern city, and stronger than most of the concrete we pour today. It's a mystery hiding in plain sight. We live in an age of steel and glass, of skyscrapers and megastructures. Yet bridges collapse within decades, highways crack after a few winters, and entire buildings have to be demolished after just a half-century. Meanwhile, Roman concrete, born in an age without electricity, without digital calculations, without modern factories, still stands firm. Why? To answer that, we have to step back nearly 2 millennia, to the bustling streets of ancient Rome. Picture it. The year is 100 AD and the air smells faintly of bread baking in clay ovens and the tang of the nearby sea. The markets are alive with the cries of merchants selling olives, figs, and wine. All around you, the city is a symphony of stone, temples with towering columns, vast public baths, arenas where tens of thousands gather to watch gladiators clash. And beneath it all, running like veins under the city's skin, are aqueducts and sewers, carrying fresh water in and waste out, built not of loose stone, but of a material the Romans call opus caementicium, Roman concrete. Unlike our concrete, which often begins to crumble in 50 or 100 years, theirs seems to grow stronger with time. Roman harbors, pounded by salt water for centuries, still hold their shape. Docks, seawalls, and breakwaters that should have been eroded to rubble by constant waves instead seem almost fused to the ocean floor. For centuries, the recipe was a secret. Roman concrete was made from volcanic ash, lime, and seawater, combined with pieces of rock or broken brick. At first, this doesn't sound extraordinary. After all, our own concrete uses cement, aggregate, and water. But here's where it becomes fascinating. In modern concrete, cracks are the beginning of the end. Once tiny fractures form, water seeps in, freezes, and expands, breaking it apart. In Roman concrete, cracks are healed. Yes, healed. When microscopic cracks form in Roman structures, something chemical and almost alive begins to happen. The lime inside the concrete reacts with water, especially seawater, and creates new minerals, sealing the crack shut. Over time, this makes the concrete not weaker, but stronger. Modern engineers call this self-healing concrete, and only in the last decade have we truly understood that the Romans had mastered it 2,000 years ago. The genius of their method lies in the volcanic ash, particularly the kind found around the Bay of Naples, near Mount Vesuvius. This ash contained a unique mix of minerals that, when combined with lime and water, didn't just harden. It grew crystalline structures inside the concrete over decades. Like bone knitting itself after a fracture, the concrete could regenerate. But here's the most tantalizing part. The Romans didn't leave us an exact standardized formula. We have hints from Pliny the Elder, Vitruvius, and a handful of surviving writings, but much of the knowledge was held in the minds of builders and passed down through apprenticeship. After the fall of the Western Roman Empire, the secret faded. Medieval builders knew of concrete, but their recipes lacked the self-healing magic of the Roman mix. So why haven't we just copied it? The truth is, we've tried. Modern researchers have analyzed Roman harbor walls, aqueduct cores, and even the Pantheon's massive dome, still the largest unreinforced concrete dome in the world after nearly 1,900 years. The breakthrough came when scientists discovered tiny lime clasts, unreacted chunks of quicklime, inside the Roman concrete. At first, researchers thought these were flaws, proof that the Romans hadn't mixed their concrete properly. But under a microscope, it became clear. These were deliberate. These clasts acted like reservoirs, ready to react with water whenever cracks appeared, triggering the self-healing process. In other words, the Romans weren't making mistakes. They were designing their concrete to last centuries, maybe forever. Now, imagine what this meant in their world. Rome wasn't just building for the present, it was building for eternity. Their roads, aqueducts, and temples were meant to stand as monuments to empire, outlasting their builders, and perhaps even Rome itself. And in a strange way, they succeeded. The empire crumbled, but the concrete remains. But here's where the mystery deepens. If Roman concrete was so superior, why didn't later civilizations adopt it wholesale? Why did we return to weaker mixtures? Some historians suggest it was simply a matter of resources. The best volcanic ash was found in specific regions, and without Rome's vast trade network, it became harder to obtain. Others think it was cultural. The fall of Rome shattered the infrastructure needed to produce such concrete on a massive scale. Knowledge scattered, recipes changed, and for over 1,000 years, the secret was lost. There's also a darker theory, that we chose not to build things to last. In the modern world, planned obsolescence is a quiet but powerful force. If you make a building that lasts forever, you remove the need for new projects, new profits. And in a strange, uncomfortable way, short-lived materials keep industries alive. Still, the rediscovery of Roman concrete's properties has sparked a new wave of hope. Imagine bridges and skyscrapers built to last centuries without constant repairs. Coastal defenses that shrug off centuries of waves. Cities that don't crumble but endure. Scientists are now experimenting with modern Roman concrete, using volcanic ash and quicklime to replicate the ancient formula. Some even think this could be a key weapon in the fight against climate change. Longer-lasting concrete means less cement production, and cement is one of the world's biggest sources of CO2 emissions. The Romans may have unknowingly given us a gift we're only just ready to use. When I think about this, I picture a Roman harbor wall in the moonlight. Waves crash against it, spraying salt water into the cracks. And deep inside, unseen, crystals are growing, sealing, strengthening. Time, which usually destroys, is instead building. The wall is alive in its own slow, mineral way. There's poetry in that. The idea that the ancients built something that resists the one force we can never defeat, decay. It's as if they found a way to make stone breathe. But perhaps the greater lesson isn't just about chemistry, it's about vision. The Romans weren't just thinking about what would stand in their lifetime, they were thinking about what would stand when they were gone. And in a world obsessed with the immediate, next quarter's profits, next year's trends, that long view feels almost alien. The Pantheon's dome still rises above Rome today, its oculus open to the sky, rain and sunlight spilling through just as they did when it was new. Tourists shuffle across its marble floor, smartphones in hand, unaware that the dome above them is held aloft by the same ancient concrete that has endured earthquakes, storms, and centuries of neglect. Will any of our skyscrapers still be standing in 2,000 years? Will our highways, our homes, or will future archaeologists look back and wonder why we, with all our technology, built so much that vanished so quickly? The answer may lie not just in the materials we use, but in the kind of legacy we choose to leave. The Romans, for all their flaws, left a physical imprint on the world that time itself has struggled to erase. And maybe, just maybe, the real mystery isn't how their concrete lasted this long, but why ours doesn't. Thank you for joining me on this journey into the stone and mortar of the ancient world. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If we had the power to make every building last for centuries, should we? Or would permanence change the way our societies grow and evolve? Share your ideas in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this journey into the unknown, please like, comment, and share. It truly helps keep these stories alive.